Deus Ex: Mankind Divided is one of the most underrated games of the previous decade. It combined immaculate immersive sim elements with an excellent skill tree and brilliant world building. Whilst its story was lacking in almost every department, that shouldn't detract much from how much of an absolute gem the game is. But I've already made a video on Mankind Divided, which you should absolutely go and watch after this one. This video is on the brilliant DLC that's available. The whole package in this form of the Season Pass often goes on sale for as little as £2, and at that price, you cannot say no to a package of this quality. The 3 expansions we'll be looking at in this video will be Desperate Measures, which sees Adam investigating further into one of the events of the main campaign, System Rift, which sees Adam reuniting with an old friend to solve a conspiracy, and finally, A Criminal Past, which sees Adam in prison. An immersive sim set in a prison. That just sounds excellent on every single metric, but let's start things off with Desperate Measures. Desperate Measures is barely a DLC, so we really won't be spending much time talking about it. The quality on show here is solid. It's fun, but it's literally just one mission, and not a very long one at that. Why this wasn't just a side mission in the main game completely beats me, because that's essentially what this is. It doesn't introduce anything new to the table, but it's another solid mission in a game with plenty. This DLC is around 30 minutes to 1 hour long. I know this section was pretty short, but there's really not much to say, so we're just going to move on to System Rift. Now, System Rift. This is a much more interesting DLC on almost every metric really. The story sees Adam Jensen teaming up with a familiar face as he intends to uncover a giant conspiracy. It's an exciting enough concept and it lives up to its early premise. I found this DLC to generally be a lot harder than the main game, from stealthily working your way around enemies to your objective, but also because of the heat sensors. These things were an absolute bitch to get past. You need to stand near red blocks in order to confuse the cameras and get by. Doesn't sound too bad on its own, but when you combine this with guards, and especially the drones, timing your movements becomes more crucial than ever before, as your window for success emphatically decreases. This is why I feel it is an absolute godsend to have remote hacking equipped for this DLC. Just to remove one layer of threats temporarily helps a boatload here. Seriously, if you're gonna play System Rift, make sure the first thing you do is equip remote hacking. Aside from a horrible hacking section near the end that focuses on platforming, something I've never liked in first-person games and something that Mankind Divided struggles in, this is a strong DLC, which adds new features to proceedings and delivers a satisfying narrative with a strong ending, as you decide what to do with the information you gain from the heist. Obviously, there's no real consequence as it's at the end of the DLC, but it's nice to have the choice given all you did to earn it in the first place. This DLC is around 2 to 5 hours long depending on how much exploration you plan on doing. But now, onto the best DLC available for Mankind Divided, A Criminal Past. Take the immersive sim elements of Mankind Divided and set the entire package in a prison. What a truly excellent idea, and it works exactly as it sounds like it would. I think that we should get a game set in a prison that is an immersive sim like this. If there is one, I am not aware of it, and I need to be. This DLC is set before the events of the main game, as a flashback during a conversation with Delara, a character who, by the way, didn't get anywhere near enough screen time during the main story, so it was nice to see more of her here. Although you could argue that almost every single character didn't get enough screen time in the main story, because as I mentioned at the start of the video, the main story is poo-poo. It's Adam's first undercover operation for TF-29, and you must navigate hostile inmates, prison riots, and annoying trap mines in order to complete your goals. Now, I know I said System Rift was harder than the main game, but A Criminal Past is much harder than the main game. Now, a lot of this may very well be self-inflicted, however, as you can choose not to retrieve any of your org enhancements, which, yes, does remove the ability to take down enemies. Now, combine this with my omnipresent refusal to kill any enemies at all, and me not being able to find the stun gun, it meant that I essentially had to complete the whole thing without getting spotted, as if I got into combat, my only real option was to run. which I did. The general pacing of A Criminal Past is downright perfect. At the start, you're figuring out who can be useful to you, and exerting information from those that have it. From there, you move between the cell blocks and other parts of the prison. It's just great. There are a lot of enemies in this expansion, way more than any real mission of the main game, so you've got to be careful with essentially every step you take. It's also got a brilliant conclusion as well, once again giving you an important decision at the end of it all. This DLC is between 3 to 7 hours long, again depending on how much exploration you plan on doing, and also if you plan on being a masochist like me and refusing to use your orgs. So those are the 3 DLCs for Deus Ex Mankind Divided. Excellent additions to an excellent game. As mentioned at the start of the video, they often go on sale for dirt cheap, just as the main game often does, to be fair. If you own the game, you've essentially got nothing to lose by spending £2 on this brilliant package of DLC. If you don't own the game, then I have to say you're probably not watching this, but buy the game. It's fantastic, and then buy the Season Pass, because these DLCs are brilliant. But that is all for today. If you enjoyed the video, then please consider leaving a like, as that would greatly help me out. And if you want to see more videos from me, then you can always consider subscribing. But for now, that is all. Have a nice day, and goodbye.